Hi students, now it's time for us to create a pyramid. The pyramid is going to involve us doing a couple new things with our SCC. As for the sketching, okay, we're going to actually use two sketches in this design. Nothing to get too worried about. We're going to be using a technique called offsetting that will allow us to do this. I'll show you how. Next, we're going to be using a new create command, which is called loft. These two things will allow us to create a pyramid. As for our dimensions, the constraints for this is still a width of 1 inch, with a height of 1 inch, and a depth of 1 inch. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to come back to Inventor. I'm going to go to File. I'm going to select a part. I'm going to go ahead and start my 2D sketch. Now I'm going to go ahead and use the XZ plane, which is here on the bottom. From here, I'm going to create a square. I'm going to start at my origin point. And again, at this point, I'm not concerned about the actual sizes. I'm going to use my dimension tool to make the sides of my square 1 inch. Now that I have this shape done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit Finish Sketch. Now, I'm going to come over here to my browser bar and I'm going to come down. And what I want to do is I want to actually select the same plane that I built my square on. In this case, the XZ plane. I'm going to click on that and you'll see that it's turned blue. Then I'm going to come over here to the panel called Work Features. And I'm going to select an offset from plane. Okay, and by clicking on that XZ plane, and now I can tell the computer how far I want this new plane above my original drawing. In this case, I want the height to be 1 inch. So now what you'll see is kind of a yellowish work plane above the actual square that I originally did. Now what I can do is I can place a sketch on top of that. So I'm going to come over here and select my Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to bring it over top of the work plane. Now by clicking on that work plane's edge, I've now laid a sketch on top of it. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to locate a point onto the sketch that's located in the center of my square. So I'm going to come in here and select point, and I'm just going to place the point any place. Now for the point, I need the actual dimensions to be for location, not for size. So I'm going to come up here and grab my dimension tool, and I'm going to select my point, and then I'm going to come down here to the origin point. I could choose any corner of the actual shape, it wouldn't matter. And what I want to do is I want to locate this in the center, so I'm going to type in 0.5 as my location. And then I'm going to do the same thing, but now I'm going to go for the width. And that is going to be 0.5. Now the point is located in the center of my shape. And what you'll notice is that when I leave here, you'll see that you have the square here at the bottom, but the point is here in the middle and top, and separated by 1 inch. And this is how you use the loft function. So what you're going to do is you're going to click to add, and then we're going to click on the sketch. So I'm going to click on this here, okay, and that will be sketch 1 up here in, oops, didn't mean to do that. So I'm going to come back at bottom, and then I'm going to come up and select the point as my second. And you'll see that the lines have been drawn from my first shape up to the point to create my pyramid. Now, I no longer need the work plane, and it doesn't kind of look right with it being on top of my pyramid. So I simply come over to the browser, right click on it, and come down to where it says visibility and click on it. The visibility has been turned off for the work plane, but it still exists in the browser. That's how you create a pyramid. You're going to find that these steps are very similar to the cone that you're about to do.